That's the crux of the story here. Okay? It is the area for body functions. Now, I don't like how the brain is compared to a computer. Okay? A computer basically operates 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And it's linear. Okay? Our brains do way more than that. All right? No matter how much AI they try to come up with, it'll never match what happens in the brain. Because computers can only be linear. Okay? They can't be exponential like our brains are. So, I don't really like that comparison. But a lot of the books, a lot of the literature, everything does make that comparison. The parts of the brain, like we've mentioned, brainstem, cerebellum, my diencephalon, okay, I'm going to stress that a lot, the cerebrum. Now look at what each part does. Brainstem connects my spinal cord to my brain. It is integration of reflexes, sensory to motor, okay, information needed for survival. This is my primitive area. This is where I get homeostasis. My cerebellum, locomotion, balance, posture, movement. A lot of it is involved with the movement of our bodies. The cerebrum, my higher order thinking skills, speech, voice recognition, reading, math, how I'm going to pick this up, blah, 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 okay? Higher order thinking. Ha, ha, ha. My diencephalon. In your textbook, it's going to talk to you a lot about the embryonic development of the brain. I don't have time for that, okay? If we were going to be embryologists, I'd be worried about it, but I don't know if anybody's going into that in here. So your textbook is going to talk about that. However, as it goes through the developmental stages, in other words, egg and sperm meet, fertilization occurs, offspring develops. As we go from 1 cell to 2 cell to 4 cell to 8 cell to 16 cell, each stage has a particular name, gastrula, blastula, stuff like that. And at each stage, something is happening with the cells, with the development. So, what we find is we get development of 3 germ layers. Endo, ecto, mesoderm. Do y'all remember that? Okay. Now, as the development continues to take place, there's development that occurs in the brain. And your textbook is going to talk about that. This is the portion that doesn't change names. Because it doesn't change. It is the portion that is truly, truly primitive. So, it stays with the diencephalon. You have other parts like the metencephalon and so forth that develop into like cerebrum, cerebellum, that sort of thing. This part doesn't change. That's how primitive this region is. So, the parts that we find, we have a thalamus, a subthalamus, an epithalamus, and a hypothalamus. The thalamus and the hypothalamus get very interesting. I'm not as interested in the sub and the epi, but hey, they're there. Okay? Now, the cranial nerves. Note, they are peripheral because they exit. They do not stay within the central nervous system. So our cranial nerves are peripheral nerves. They come directly from the brain. We get 2 pair from our cerebrum, 10 from the brainstem. Go figure. 10 pairs are from the primitive area of our brain. Only 2 from the higher order thinking. And you'll see that what they're involved with functions that are maintaining homeostasis. So these areas of the brain, we have the brainstem, the medulla, the pons, our midbrain, reticular formation, cerebellum, my diencephalon, my cerebrum. All of this. That's what we are. If you think about it, really, I mean, it's what we are. So, what do we get? Looks like some kind of funky ice cream cone. Yeah, think about it. It's some kind of bubblegum ice cream cone or something. Okay? My brainstem. I have my area that is my diencephalon, where I find my area of my thalamus, and I'm going to end up with the hypothalamus like underneath it. Well, I'm pointing at the wrong area of the head, but it's because I can't get to the right area. Okay? Because I'd have to be able to like go through the roof of my mouth to get there. Okay? So, the pons, the medulla oblongata, these right here, what's in yellow, that's the representation of the cranial nerves that are exiting at this area. Now, it's kind of giving you the front, the anterior view, and here giving you the posterior view. Now, the pineal gland can kind of see right here. Now, other stuff they're going to get into, like the midbrain and so forth, your textbook's going to talk quite a bit about that in embryonic development too, but like I said, I'm not getting into a lot of that. But notice the structure. It looks very busy, right? Lots of lines, lots of bumps, lots of grooves, and this sort of thing. Because at this point, okay, we are talking primitive. So this means we're having to receive information such as respiration rate, heart rate, blood pressure rate. We're having to make sure that the pH is correct, that the ions are correct. Stuff we don't have to think about. All right? If we had to think about it, it would be like, oh man, I'd be so messed up because I'd forget. All right? I would just forget. I mean, if I had to, like, make sure that my heart beat, I'd really be in trouble. And, basically, the ultimate cause of death is your heart stops. Don't matter what else happened previous to that. The ultimate cause of death is your heart stops. So, if we look, do I not have this one either?
Yeah, I have that one.
You got that one?
No, I have a picture of.
Okay.
Of it.
I have them, but they're kind of spread out over.
They're kind of spread out.
Do we need them in,
Okay. All right, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stop right there for today. And I'll get this straightened out, maybe. If I don't go back and print anything, don't go back to Blackboard and print anything, whatever I straighten out, once again, I'll bring it to you as a copy on Tuesday. Okay? So don't go finish printing that off.
So we don't. So they don't have. So you don't have this.
Evidently, I don't.
Can I see
No.
pictures of it?
Yeah, but I haven't started talking about it. I'm gonna bring it back. I'll bring it back on Tuesday. We'll start at this point.
So should we print that last page or no? You're gonna reprint that?
No, I'll read. Yes.
We don't need to know